Mr. Speaker, sir, I think I want to thank you first for the opportunity. And one other thing I want to confirm and affirm to this House, UDM is officially in Kenya Kwanza. I'm a member of that coalition, and we have no fear or favor to anybody, asking for any favors. Azimio has failed to retain its own members, and therefore Kenya Kwanza has moved. Mr. Speaker, sir, defend me. Mr. Speaker, if I come back to the motion, I wish to come back to the motion, Mr. Speaker, sir, that I support the motion. The House Business Committee is a very important and crucial committee, and it does not serve any party interest. It serves the interest of the Senate. And therefore, I request our colleagues on the opposite side that let's not be partisan to any decisions, and let's serve the interest of this House. From the time we were in Nevada, I've been hearing that this House has a lot of pending issues. Many motions that have been passed have not gone through anywhere. I think this time we need to make a difference. And therefore, we must all of us work as a team, despite your affiliations. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion.
Senator Nyamu Karen.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. I want to underscore.
Senator Ledama, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, my dear sister Karonyamu, you'll have to forgive me for this. Mr. Speaker,
Senator Ledama.
You've asked me for my point of order.
Absolutely, and I reserve the right to recall. Senator Ledama, a very senior, seasoned senator. The Honorable Senator Karen Nyamu is making her maiden speech, and I'm recalling it. Senator Karen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your intervention on that. I want to underscore the importance of this committee and reiterate what other members have said there before me, and make an observation that all the ladies in this committee happen to be nominated members, and that's just an observation, and with that I support the motion. Thank you.
Senator Sifuna Edward.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I want to rise to oppose. Mr. Speaker, we are a house of rules, a house guided by the law, and most importantly, precedent. The practice that you set today with the first committee that we are going to constitute is going to set the tone for everything. Mr. Speaker, we had requested, because I have it on good authority, Bwana Majority Leader. I have it on good authority, Bwana Majority Leader, Mr. Speaker, from the leadership of the minority side, that in fact the name of Ali Roba did not originate from the minority side. We therefore would not want to begin on this particular note, where even the constitution of a basic committee, such as a business committee, does not follow our own standing orders. What will we ever be told as the new members of this Senate about your standing orders if we disregard them in the manner that we are doing? It is a very simple exercise, Mr. Speaker, that we send this exercise back to the originators. Let the members and the names be communicated in the same manner as the leadership of the House was communicated. And I don't understand, Mr. Speaker, why you were shy to disclose who wrote which name, just the way that you did with the names of the leadership of the House. it would have helped us as a House to determine whether we are proceeding in accordance with our own rules or against our own standing orders. So, Mr. Speaker, I don't think we are in a rush. It is better for us to take time to do the right thing than to appear to be in a rush. And I can see my brother, Senator Roba, smiling there because he's very happy with the fruits of infidelity. He's enjoying the fruits of infidelity, which, Mr. Speaker, we should not allow to happen. Let us respect our own rules. Let us proceed on the basis of our own rules so that we set a precedent going forward for this Parliament or for this Senate, that we are a House that will respect our own rules. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I oppose.
Senator Julius Murgo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion because this is a very important motion to pass because it is about the business of this House. And therefore, because we are anxious to move on, we just can't go beating around the bush like our brothers want, the minority side want to take us in circles over water that has already gone under the bridge. So I think we should move on, and therefore I support the motion.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as I make my contribution to this motion, Mr. Speaker, we started off very well. We constituted the leadership of the House very, very well, with clarity and reading letters that were written to you. Mr. Speaker, the information that I want to give, and I beg that I should be heard in silence, the information that I wanted to give is that, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Senator Governor Ali Roba, and for full disclosure, is a very good friend of mine, very close friend of mine. But, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Roba was elected on a UDM ticket under the Azimio One Kenya Alliance. And, Mr. Speaker, the question that was asked by Senator Omogeni was a matter of
Senator
who exactly nominated
Senator Wambua.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Order,
Speaker,
senators.
These senators clouded this motion.
Senator Wambua,
We should be allowed
you will
to
address the chair.
Yes, I'm addressing Mr. Speaker. And I'm telling you that the senators on the majority side clouded this motion.
Senator Wambua, we have given room for ventilation on that particular issue, and a ruling was made by the chair. We are now contributing to the main motion. It's either you're opposing or supporting. Can you proceed, Senator?
Mr. Speaker, I will proceed this way. I will proceed with seeking clarity and guidance from the Speaker on what we should do in this House when the Speaker makes a ruling that is considered unfair by a section of the House. What is supposed to do, Mr. Speaker?
Senator Wambua, the ruling stands.
Point of order, Speaker. Point of order, Speaker.
Senator Gataya, Tharaka Nithi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I have looked at the composition of the entire membership of the Business Committee, and I'm happy this is a very strong committee for this House, including the disputed member, Honorable Roba. I support the entire leadership. I'm sure this Business Committee is going to be the engine of the business of the House. So as I said it from the Raganithi, I strongly support the team so that we can move with speed. They develop calendars for the business of the House. I support.
Senator Fatuma Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, let me say that you have already given a ruling on this matter. But for me, and I don't want to go against your ruling, but this is something that is very serious, and it will set a precedent if we gloss over it. And it is very clear, Mr. Speaker, that the senator from Mandera stood and said he has already gone to court to petition the removal of his agreement from Azimio. Number two, there are institutions that are actually mandated to clarify this matter. Mr. Speaker, I do agree with your ruling, but this is a house of rules. This is a house of procedure, guided by standing order, guided by the law. We must actually look into this, and we should not gloss over it. I thank you.
Senator Murkomen.
Now, Mr. Speaker, thank you. Finally, I get a chance to contribute to the motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support this motion. I have served as a member of Senate Business Committee. I know, Mr. Speaker, the committee members who have been chosen, except the ones identified by the standing orders, will be serving for only maybe 2-3 months before again in January this committee is reconstituted, Mr. Speaker, because the session will end, I think, end of January or February. So those who have been chosen by this House to serve in Senate Business Committee must demonstrate the requisite leadership skills that, Mr. Speaker, can give them another chance, perhaps to be considered again by the leadership after February to continue serving in this committee. This committee is extremely important in scheduling the business of this Senate. And, Mr. Speaker, I want to urge my colleagues who have had the privilege to go and serve in this committee to take seriously the business that comes from the members, particularly private bills. Mr. Speaker, I also hope the Senate Business Committee, working with the Secretariat, the clerk is here, and the team, should assist many members, especially on this majority side, whom I've interacted with, who are new, especially nominated ones, Mr. Speaker, have come with new energy, with new vigor. They really want to establish and draft bills on issues that they promised their constituents, Mr. Speaker. I think the necessary support should be given to them and their bills be prioritized and passed in this House like we've done before, so that we can make sure that in this year, Mr. Speaker, we give an account. In the perhaps the first quarter of next year, members can give an account of the number of bills that they have been able to pass. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the Senate Business Committee provides the leadership on the relationship between the Senate and the National Assembly. I mentioned, Mr. Speaker, earlier in our sitting here, Mr. Speaker, when we were sworn in, that there is, Mr. Speaker, the goodwill of the executive insofar as strengthening this House, and not just strengthening by virtue of helping the House, but allowing this House to function as it should. The Senate Business Committee should quickly move, Mr. Speaker, together with the National Assembly Business Committee, to harness this potential, Mr. Speaker, for closing ranks, especially on the functioning of Article 110 of the Constitution. And the Senate Business Committee should prioritize the case that is before the Supreme Court. That, Mr. Speaker, instead of going through the long hog, we should be able to sign, Mr. Speaker, a consent between us and the National Assembly. Senator Mogeni is our lead counsel now that Senator Orengo is no longer here. And, Mr. Speaker, we must quickly move as a team to sign a consent, Mr. Speaker, on this matter and allow the National Assembly and the Senate to function. And that consent should be followed, Mr. Speaker, with a bill that will make sure that legislation that was being sponsored by Senator Mutula Kilonzo Jr. and Senator Sakaja, as they then were, Mr. Speaker, is now made to function. We pass between both houses to ensure that the two houses can work together. I look forward to, Mr. Speaker, having this Senate achieve far much more than the first and the second achieved. When I came here, Mr. Speaker, Senator Gigi Kariuki used to tell us, the younger senators, that, oh, you know, we've been there before, stop rushing, stop running, stop doing this. But, Mr. Speaker, that's not the case. This House will benefit, and this Senate will benefit most by having its new senators. In fact, the new senators are going to make this Senate shine further, and we must allow them to think and imagine anything and everything they want to do, because that's how you can be able to grow through tradition, practice the jurisdiction of this House, and make this House, Mr. Speaker, attractive to the people of Kenya and useful to hustlers of this republic. Mr. Speaker, I beg to support, and I wish the colleagues who are in this committee the very best as they serve.
Senator Professor Ojend.
I don't know if I can be heard from here. I prefer to address the House from here, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, two issues are important here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise, of course, against noting that we are very wonderful people in the House Business Committee, like my good friend Senator Wandeti here. But, Mr. Speaker, sir, on a point of order, and Senator Dulu has pointed to the need to ensure that we sanitize every process in this House and ensure that it is compliant. There is communication that has been shared from the Register of Political Parties, and that has been shared to us, all of us, that Senator Roba, my former client, is indeed and is still a member of Azimio Party. Mr. Speaker, the problematic that will arise if the House rules or approves the House Business Committee as proposed is that you would have, by that decision, stamped the authority, your authority, and declared Azimio as the minority party, as the majority party. Majority party. And I say this because, majority leader, just listen to me. I say this because, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have looked at Section 2 of the Political Parties Act. I've looked at Section 7, 6, I've looked at 11 as well, Mr. Speaker, sir. And those sections are to the effect that a coalition party or a coalition of parties, however designated, can find place in the House in the manner existing prior to the election. The Azimio coalition was a coalition that presented candidates to the election through various parties that were voted in, and that is why the number 32, 34 is instructed. I know why my learned friend, Senator Murkomen, my former colleague, I got him his first job, is making his point. At Moi University, I got him his first job. You know it. Mr. Speaker, sir, why my learned friend is saying we decide on this matter today is because he knows he's going to be sworn in next week with Senator Soipan, and we will be the majority by next week. Mr. Speaker, I would urge this court to adjourn this debate or call for a vote. If you call for a vote, Mr. Speaker, sir, and an adjournment emerges or ensues out of the vote, next week we will be the majority. We will be the majority. I confirm that.
Senator Osoltsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the House Business Committee is a very, very crucial committee in any house. I served in the House Business Committee of the National Assembly for 4 sessions. And I know nothing happens in the House until the House Business Committee is constituted and approved by the House. And I remember on many occasions in the National Assembly, sometimes we had to defeat the motion on the House Business Committee because of one issues or two issues here and there. I also want to say that the membership of the House Business Committee, from my experience in the National Assembly, which I think works the same with the Senate, was that the people who were chosen to represent the interests of the parties in the House Business Committee were expected to be people of high integrity, people who would keep secret, people who would keep their words. So, Mr. Speaker, you know this is a house of integrity, this is a house of record, and this is a house of rules. And we are starting our first session today. I will beseech you, Mr. Speaker, that we give a chance to reason on this matter, because the issues that has been raised by a number of members are very weighty, and we don't want a situation where we make a decision and people seek redress elsewhere, because we want to operate as a house of respect and a house of integrity. Mr. Speaker, I have listened to various contributions, especially from the majority side, coming from colleagues who I have a lot of respect with, Honorable Cheruyot, Honorable Cheregei, on the issue of Azimio not being a party. Mr. Speaker, I remember last Parliament, the 12th Parliament, before we went for recess, we passed a law which was an amendment to the Political Parties Act. And if you go to the Political Parties Act, it is very clearly stated that a coalition political party is a coalition registered by the registrar of political parties as a political party. So there is no dispute about that. So, Mr. Speaker, I want you to call to order Honorable Waziri Murkomen, Cheregei, and Cheruyot, and my neighbor, Honorable Khalware, for misleading this House, because it's against Standing Order number 122, gross misorder in the House by giving false information to the Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, because of all these issues that have been raised, I oppose this motion.
Senator Veronica Nduati.
Yeah. Let me go. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you for this opportunity. I have been seated very patiently listening through the debate and the standing orders that are being cited, and all the debates that have been brought to the floor of this House, especially by the minority side. I have struggled to get the legal basis of the objection that have been given to the motion that is before this House, for two reasons, Mr. Speaker. It is not possible legally in Kenya under the Political Parties Amendment Act to register a coalition political party and at the same time name that coalition political party as a political party. Those are two different tracks of registration. So, as a Secretary General of UDA, I was involved in the last general election. I am aware Azimio is a coalition political party. They had a presidential candidate who vied together with his running mate. They only had that candidature. They did not have any other candidature at any other level, from the gubernatorial up to the MCA level. So the debate that you have waded into today is, first of all, not based on legal facts. What they have proposed or brought to the floor of this House does not legally exist. So I want to persuade you, Mr. Speaker, as I was listening and looking for the legal basis on which we could respond, I did not find any. I want to persuade you that Kenyans are watching today the track that Senate will take. We are interested in conducting the business of the Senate and affirming the position and the need of Senate to continue overseeing the devolution in this nation. Mr. Speaker, if the motion that is before this House is rejected today, it may as well be interpreted by Kenyans that Senate has started on a wrong footing by refusing the business committee. Yes. Mr. Speaker,
order,
allow me
order,
to finish.
Order, members.
It is my view.
Order.
It is my view. It may as well, yes, because do not have the narrow conscripted view of when you are seated in Senate. There is a wider perspective. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, I have stood here to persuade both sides of the divide, to allow the business committee take its position, map out the business of the House from today henceforth. If there are any issues relating to coalitions, they are beyond you today. They are not before this House today. And there is no determination, there is no court order that has taken UDM, that has ordered UDM to be in the Azimio coalition, and that has ordered UDM not to be in Kenya Kwanza coalition. UDM today, and the party leader is seated in the floor of the House today. UDM today is a coalition partner of the Kenya Kwanza.
Senator Mohamed Abdallah Shakila.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have nothing against my brother Roba, and I know you're not here to decide on the issues of parties, but I want to suggest that this issue of party can only be clarified by ORPP, and I think it is only fair for ORPP to give us the clarification, or you as a speaker, to seek clarification on this issue from ORPP so that we can put this issue to rest. But otherwise, we will be arguing here until the cattle come from the grazing. So please, Mr. Speaker, it is important we seek clarification from ORPP, who are the people mandated to tell us which party belongs where, constitutionally and as per the Political Parties Act. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, honorable senators, we cannot continue prosecuting a matter that I've already ruled on. I have allowed these points of order. I have given time for members to ventilate, and I proceeded to rule. And the rule stands. Senator Cheptumo, what is your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, my point of order arises from the fact that members of this House, you having made a ruling, and you've brought us back to the substantive motion before the House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, members continued again to debate an issue that has been ruled on. Mr. Speaker, guide this House, Mr. Speaker. Any member who will rise on from his or her place should be able to discuss the motion before you, either support or not support. Mr. Speaker, this House is a house of procedure. We cannot purport to undermine the ruling of the House, Mr. Speaker. That is the direction, Mr. I think we need to move.
Honorable senators, let me say this. Raising on a point of order is within your right as a senator. But you cannot be on your feet on a point of order on a matter that I've ruled. So, opportunities will be given for points of order, but they should not be the same point of order that I've ruled. So, as we move, if I'm to give you an opportunity, you're either opposing the motion or supporting the motion. And if you are to rise on a point of order, that point of order should not be related to a matter that I've already ruled on. Yes, Senator Mazayo, what is your point of order? And I hope that point of order.
We are guided by standing orders.
Senator Ledama. Senator Ledama. We know that this Senate is guided by standing orders. You need not scream about it. Kindly, Senator Fokilifi.
Bwana Speaker, hili bunge la Senate ni bunge la hali ya juu sana kulinganishana na taratibu zake za debate. Bwana Speaker, nakusihi uangalie katika hii barua iliyoandikwa na Nderetu ambaye yeye ni Registrar of Political Parties. Na hii barua iliandikwa tarehe 7 Septemba mwaka huu. Barua hii iliandikiwa clerk wa Senate. Hii barua iliandikiwa clerk wa Senate, na barua hii inahusikana na ile barua ambayo yeye alikuwa ameipeleka ikisema ya kwamba tarehe 6 mwezi wa Septemba ilikuwa wanataka kujua hii party iko mahali gani, iko upande huu ama iko upande huu. Na hii barua inasema ya kwamba hii UDM, Bwana Speaker, nafikiri unanisikiliza, hii barua hii ambayo iko na clerk wetu ndani ya bunge hili la Senate, nataka kumuuliza Bwana Clerk ikiwa itawezekana.
Order.
Ikiwa itawezekana Bwana Speaker.
Order members.
Mtetee Bwana Speaker. Manake mimi ndio ambaye niko hapa.
Order.
Bwana Speaker, barua hii imeandikwa na Registrar wa Political Parties. Na barua iko wazi tarehe 7. Hii imeandikwa, iko hapa ndani, na yule ambaye anaelewa Bwana Speaker, Bwana Speaker, uko na uwezo wa kumwambia Bwana Clerk akalete hii barua aiweke hapa mbele ya hili bunge la Senate ili kila mtu aone yule Ali Roba yuko mahali gani. Hatutakubali Ali Roba awe anazunguka kila pande hii na pande hii. Barua hii inakamilisha tarehe 7 mwezi huu. Ilisema ya kwamba yule Ali Roba yeye ni member wa upande huu, hawezi kwenda upande ule na wewe ukatia tiki. Huyu Ali Roba mwenyewe amesimama hapa amekumislead Bwana Speaker, na hii ni kosa kubwa sana ndani ya hili bunge.
Can we have
order? Bwana Speaker, na tuko tayari umuode huyu, umuode clerk wetu aweze kuleta hii barua hapa sasa hivi.
Order members. Order members. The senator.
Hii barua Bwana Speaker ni shy forward kwa clerk. Ako na
Order members. Order. The senator. Order. Senator Fokilifi, can you have your seat, please? The Senator Fokilifi, can you have your seat, please? Honorable members, and more particularly the Senator for Kilifi, after the mover moved the motion, you seconded this motion. Honorable members, I have been very clear that it's within your right to stand on a point of order. But do not raise a point of order that I've already ruled on. The issues that have been raised by the Senator for Kilifi, it's a matter that I've already ruled on. So kindly, as you stand, you either support the motion or oppose the motion. Any other point of order related to that issue, there's already a ruling. And the ruling is binding and it stands.